तें सिद्ध जालें, प्रूव जालें दॅट इट वॉज अ कॉमेट. आनी आज सुद्दां एस्ट्रॉनॉमीच्या इतिहासात एक कॉमेट आसा जाका एसेन्स स्टार गॉथिंगनेस कॉमेट म्हणटात, ते गोंयांत डिस्कवर जाल्ले हे रेकॉर्ड्स आमकां मेळटात. जेज्युइट एस्ट्रॉनॉमरांचें कंट्रिब्युशनूय खूब थोर आसा. पण तातूंत एक वता वता 19th सेंच्युरीचो एक एस्ट्रॉनॉमर हाजे बद्दल शेअर करूंक सोदता. आग्नेलो सेची हो आनीक जेज्युइट एस्ट्रॉनॉमर आशिल्लो फ्रॉम द 19th सेंच्युरी. व्हेरी व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट सोलार सायन्स ताणें डेव्हलप केला. जेन्ना सना कडेन आमी सोलार टेलिस्कोप्स घेवन पळयतात तेन्ना कंटिन्युअसली एक्सप्लोजन्स दिश्टी पडटात. ताका प्रॉमिनन्सीस, फ्लेअर्स, लूप्स अशें म्हणटात. पूण सनाचो सरफेस चड लागच्यान ऑब्जर्व करून, वीच इज व्हेरी डेंजरस ऑल्सो, त्या वेळार जे इन्स्ट्रुमेंट सारके नाशिल्ले, हाणें सोदून काडलें की देर आर स्मॉलर इरप्शन्स, इल्लेशे इरप्शन सनाचेर कंटिन्युअसली जायत आसात. स्पिक्युल्स हें तांचें नांव आसा. हे एस्ट्रॉनॉमरान म्हणजे आग्नेलो स्टेकी हाणें डिस्कवर केल्लें इन द 19th सेंच्युरी. सो हे अननोन सायंटिस्ट आसात जे सगळे जेजुईट ऑर्डराचे पाद्री आशिल्ले, पण तांणी सायन्स आनी एस्ट्रॉनॉमी हाजेर खूब अभ्यास करून इतले डेव्हलपमेंट केलें आमचे हे सायन्साचे. दॅट सायन्स वील ऑलवेज बी थँकफूल टू द जेजुइट्स फॉर अ लॉट ऑफ ब्युटिफूल कंट्रिब्युशन दॅट दे हॅव डन टू द वर्ल्ड ऑफ एस्ट्रॉनॉमी. जेन्ना आमी पोर्चुगीज एस्ट्रॉनॉमी, जेजुइट एस्ट्रॉनॉमी हे सगळे टॉपिक्स बद्दल उलयतात तेन्ना एक मनीस आसा जाच्या शिवाय हें डिस्कशन कंप्लीटूच जावंक शकना. हांव आसा पणजे मळ्यान हांगा फॉन्टायनस पर्सिवल नोरोना यांच्या घरात. पर्सिवल नोरोना सामको फेमस गोंयचो हिस्टोरियन आसात. ही इज ऑफ 93 years ऑफ एज. तरी सरांची एन्थुजियाजम एकदम पावरफूल आसा, एक इन्फेक्शियस आसा. आनी गोवन हिस्ट्री, गोवन हेरिटेज, स्पेशली इंडो पोर्चुगीज हिस्ट्री आनी इंडो पोर्चुगीज हेरिटेज ऑफ ओल्ड गोवा हाचेर सराचें कंट्रिब्युशन सामकें अनपॅरलल आसा फॉर अस. हांव हांगा आयला सर पर्सिवल नोरोनाक विचारपाक की पोर्चुगीज काळांत एस्ट्रॉनॉमी कशी जाताली, नॉट ओन्ली इन द एन्शंट टायम्स, जो पर्यंत पोर्चुगीज गोंय सोडून गेले तितलीं वर्सां गोंयांत एस्ट्रॉनॉमी कशी आशिल्ली तें विचारपाक हांव हांगा आयला सरा कडेन. सर, कॅन यू टेल अस समथींग हाव पोर्चुगीज वेर एस्ट्रॉनॉमर्स?
For navigation purpose, Infant Don Henrique had set up a wonderful setup at Algarve,
Portugal,
south of Portugal Cape, just jutting out towards Atlantic Ocean. And there he set up such a school, not only educating students, but also with latest instruments used at that time during navigation.
Astronavigation.
Astronavigation. And the first mariners like Diocan, who discovered Guinea, Portugal Guinea, then Vasco da Gama went further down. But who was the soul of that school was Infant Don Henrique, who is the youngest son of Don João.
He's called Henry the Navigator.
Henry the Navigator. He had such a vision, and he set up the school of Sangers. If you go there, you get a wonderful view, and you can recollect what were those days when they devised so many instruments to ease the way for the navigation. That was the great. And the first navigators were going up to Madeira Island, Azores Island, and up to Guinea. But Vasco da Gama took a very bold step, and they went up to Bartolomeu Dias. Went up to Cape of Good Hope.
The southern tip of Africa.
South of Africa.
Yes.
Then Vasco da Gama came later, and he just crossed the
Cape of Good Hope.
Cape of Good Hope. Was named as Good Hope because that opened up their vista for the east.
Empire of the East.
And that was how Portugal came up with such a large empire, being one small, tiny state in Europe.
Sir, I just wanted to know how study of astronomy was done in the Portuguese times.
In Portuguese, at least in my time, we had a subject in the second year of Liceo, when we were around 12 years. And our teacher used to teach us how to find latitude and longitude, small problems, latitude and longitude. And we had a very good teacher, Professor Leão Fernandes by name.
In Lyceum?
In Lyceum. And when we were young at 12, around 11, 12, he used to take us to Antio. And they used to have some instruments about rainfall and this and that. At that time we had the idea of pluviometer. Pluviometer is a small gadget to measure the quantity of water,
rainfall,
of the rainfall, of the rain. And this is like that we used to study practically a lot of.
Did you all have a telescope at that time, sir?
At that time we had one small, a very good telescope of 6 inch with refractor and of Zeiss company from England.
In the Lyceum?
Lyceum. I don't know what was the fate of that instrument after liberation.
It has disappeared now.
I don't, frankly speaking, I felt
but did you do observations on that telescope?
We used to do, we had one assistant there, not professor, but he was in charge of the museum. His name was I don't remember now, but he was a wonderful man. He was not a qualified man, but practical man. He used to teach us how to find latitude, longitude, look at the telescope, through telescope, and the dark nights, starry nights of December, November, December. We used to have a special convocation of all batches of the first year, of the second year, and of fifth year to study
astronomy.
Not astronomy, but to watch
sky observations.
That was the great.
So actually, म्हाका मुद्दाम सांगपाक जाय की आता सर पर्सिवल नोरोना 93 वर्साचे जाल्या पण तांणी जेन्ना स्कुलान आशिल्ले तेन्ना एस्ट्रोनॉमी लायसियमान शिकून थंयचो टेलिस्कोपार ऑब्जर्वेशन करून फुडें तांकां स्फूर्ती आयली आनी अबाउट 33 इयर्स एगो गोंयान आनी इंडियेची फर्स्ट पब्लीक एस्ट्रोनॉमिकल ऑब्जर्वेटरी सरान फावंड केल्ली ती आज पर्यंत जुंता हावजाच्या टेरसार आसा. सो एक तरेन आमी म्हणू शकता की फाउंडेशन्स ऑफ द पब्लीक एस्ट्रोनॉमिकल ऑब्जर्वेटरी ऑफ गोवा लायस इन द पोर्चुगीज टायम्स हे सरान शिकयल्लें. बट अनफॉर्च्युनेटली आज एज्युकेशन सिस्टमान एस्ट्रोनॉमी खूपच कमी आसा आनी आय डोंट अंडरस्टँड की ताका इम्पॉर्टन्स कित्याक दिनात म्हणून. इट इज अ व्हेरी वंडरफूल सायन्स की आमी युनिवर्सांत आसात आमचें सायन्स तें आमी वळखुपाक आमचें टू अंडरस्टँड आवर सेल्फ वी हॅव टू अंडरस्टँड एस्ट्रोनॉमी. पण फ्रॉम फर्स्ट स्टँडर्ड टू 10th स्टँडर्ड एक हार्डली 2 चॅप्टर सोडले जाल्यार आमच्या सिलेबसान एस्ट्रोनॉमी चड शिकयच आसना. दिस इज अ व्हेरी सॅड थिंग. Sir, I had gone to Old Goa, and in Old Goa I saw a lot of Jesuit astronomy there. Can you tell us some history about Jesuits and astronomy?
You know what happened in the 16th century? Studies, programs for the schools, that it started taking shape, but where only within the seminaries run by partly by Jesuits, partly by other orders. But Jesuits, by nature, I don't know, they had a great love for astronomy.
Science and astronomy.
Science and astronomy. The Jesuits started having a lot of, spread in such a way that they reached even China. And China was a Buddhist area. But yet, with their knowledge, they just captured the attention of the emperor. And they made way, and they showed to them various innovations in the Western world. And the emperor was very much taken up by them, and used called them advisors, 2 or 3. One day, one of the Jesuits studied the situation of the sky and just noted that there would be a solar eclipse daytime. And he just mentioned to emperor. Then the emperor said, "You don't tell this anyone. But I will call my scientists, because astronomers, and see whether they are going to disclose something to me.
Okay.
But they were not aware at all.
Okay.
Next day when it took place,
Eclipse.
The Jesuits showed to Emperor the partial eclipse and went away. The next morning they called their
Chinese
astronomers and asked why they had not informed them. They were not aware. All they were hanged.
Okay, because they could not predict eclipse, they were beheaded. Okay, very famous story. Okay, sir, another thing I wanted to know is about in Goa, in old Goa, there were a lot of Jesuits, sir, a lot of colleges were there.
Well, old Goa, the Jesuits were here,
Yes.
and they themselves
Yes.
were the founders of the seminary of Rasul, and they introduced the subject. Astronomy was a subject essential for studies. They used to teach us practically everything, and whenever there was a prediction of any eclipse, he used to take us for a certain place in the hillock and show us, explain to us the reasons why this took place here, why did it take place in Europe, and all that.
Sir, I am actually interested in knowing about the Jesuit sundials of Goa. Can you tell me anything?
But Jesuits, of course, they were very deep in their studies of astronomy. And in fact, they set up the seminary of Rasul. There they used to teach practical astronomy. And since this whole area of South Sea was under the Jesuits, and but this was under the Franciscans were not very much. Their temperament was different. There is even a saying that the Jesuit looks after my money, while Franciscan looks after my wife.
Okay, nice one. Very interesting. हांगा खुबशे इंटरेस्टिंग इन्फॉर्मेशन अबाउट जेजुईट एस्ट्रोनॉमी पोर्चुगीज एस्ट्रोनॉमी पर्सिवल सरान म्हाका दिल्लें आसा. तुमकां हें सगळें कशें आवडलें, तुमकां हाजे बद्दल कितें कळ्ळें, तुमचेय कदें आनी कितें ताजे इनपुट्स आसा जाल्यार अवश्य म्हाका एक फीडबॅक दियात. सकयल आमचे हांगा ईमेल ID आसा. एनीथींग यू नो अबाउट दीस, एक गोंयचें हें दायज एस्ट्रोनॉमी इज ऑल्सो पार्ट ऑफ आवर गोवन हेरिटेज, तें आमी प्रिजर्व करपाचे प्रयत्न करया हे प्रोग्रामाचो एक मिडियम घेवन. अंतरिक्ष अप एंड अवे आज हांगाच काबार करया. तुमकां कितें फीडबॅक दिवपाचो आसा सकयल हांगा आमची ईमेल ID आसा. एनीथींग यू नो अबाउट द टॉपीक आमी जे आज मेन्शन केलां, तुमकां जर चड खबर आसा प्लीज म्हाका इनपूट दीत रावात. सो फुडल्या आठवड्यात परत भेट जातली. पळयत रावात अंतरिक्ष अप एंड अवे ओनली ऑन प्रुडंट.